And Fort-ternan has very historical places nyingi or sites nyingi ya historia. That is why you see most of visitors ambao wamejua Fort-ternan vizuri, they are coming to learn more about the historical background of this area. First, these fossils or the prehistorical site is the main attractions around here, and it is the documented one. Alafu kuna so many sceneries, like we have colonial cave, that cave which was dug by the colonialists led by Wika. Right. And we remember this as a colonial cave because most of Africans died here, because at the time he was using you to dig, he didn't want you to interact with some fellow Africans because you'll be revealing the secret of the cave. So that's why we call it colonial cave. It's around 100 meters in total.
Okay.
Yeah, because we combine that left branch and the straight. It's a very historical place, and the area being area which was heavily affected during the construction of railways, this branch from Nakuru to Kisumu, and the non-rebellious were against what we call this area, what we call the construction of railways. This was a battlefield for non-rebellious. That is why we can get some belongings. Also, we can count some of the burial cairns within our compound. We have about 3 burial cairns which were documented by a historian called John Sutton. John Sutton worked with the Iberia or Imperial British of Eastern Africa. Then we have some of the building or construction which are still standing intact, like the railways, the railways tunnel is now becoming a monument because since it was constructed, is now over 100 years old and still intact. Also, the geographical terrain of this area has created some beautiful sceneries. When we talk about who knows the Fort-ternan museums, it becomes something very different because most of the visitors here are from very far areas, and we do receive visitors of different caliber. We receive researchers who are still doing research in archaeological work. We receive the schoolgoers, both from college and high schools, who still need some practical and good information or more knowledge about these archaeological sites. Also, we receive the locals. They come, but not in big number because they're used to this place, and maybe they're used to this place, but they don't know more about this place. Even some local schools, when they come here, when we start talking about the historical background of this area, they look like they are from very far area. They don't know the background of what we have here. So you may find a visitor or a researcher come from those sides of Wasungu. Now he knows everything about the Fort-ternan, but somebody from around here, maybe just know that is people to come and visit this place, and that is why for us to know, the first exhibit within the area is the person or the anybody you encounter. So when a visitor comes from far, anybody he gets around, that's the first exhibit, and he needs the first information from that person. Now we have done some preparation to collect, to bring, or to educate the locals so that they can know what to tell others about this site. And in that, I've brought in some cultural artifacts for the locals to feel that they are part and parcel of this site. And the few cultural artifacts like Nariet, mostly I brought these cultural artifacts to make the locals feel free to the site. They should know how to protect the site. They see the importance of the site. So in future, maybe God willing, we would like this site to be cultural museum or site museum, so that we will have varieties, cultural artifacts, fossils. So any local person or somebody from Kalenjin community or from any community would come here to learn more about Kalenjin culture, and learning about culture, you just learn through culture. You just learn about culture through experiencing some cultural artifacts used by a particular community. So that is why I'm appealing to the Kalenjin community to bring some cultural artifacts to be preserved and conserved in this site so that their culture would not be eroded away. Oh yes, we have a lot of challenges in the site. The first challenge is that skull which was excavated from the site is not being displayed in the site. Neither do we have a sculpture of its kind in the site. Why? Because of security purposes. It is kept in Nairobi Museum since 1992. It is still there up to date, because in the site we don't have any proper kind of gallery we can keep it safe. So when somebody comes from far and he knew he was coming to a place where Kenyapithecus was excavated, the first thing he wants to see is the Kenyapithecus skull. But amusingly, they don't get that, and we need some help from our political divide to come up and maybe support the site so that we get, especially the MP of the area should be the first person to talk more about and champion about this site, because the site is belonging to national government and is the member of the National Assembly, where we can talk much about the site. We are very grateful to the Kericho County government because they have done a lot, though the site does not belong to them. The site is not part of the devolved unit. So it is a national government. The county government has done a lot. When I came, the site was like a grazing ground. But because I knew the importance of the site, I approached this county government office. Then was the minister was Engineer Mason, who welcomed me. And Engineer Mason, what he promised to bring to the site was realistic, because the site is now fenced. It's well fenced. And then the site, there was not even a pit latrine. The county government sponsored the construction of a latrine or toilets, and we are now very, very comfortable when we see children coming or students coming to the site. Another thing they did is the construction of this shade, the resting shade, where we now use as our class when we are lecturing the students. We are now very comfortable. Apart from that, the challenges we have, we are now, the site is still at dark. There's no single electricity. Hakuna stima hapa kwa site. The source of water, I think you realized it when we host a school here from Kisumu County. There is no water source, even a drop to drink. Also, the road network here is not so that good. When it rains, our visitors suddenly reach the site because of the terrain here is very harsh sometimes, and the road is a bit, though it's okay, but it's better than I got it, but it's not that well proved. So we are still having a lot of challenges. Then the internal infrastructure, like building. Look, this house was constructed as a residential for staffs. Right now, it is leaking. Too old since 1980 to date. Then staffs here, they don't have anything to be happy about. Though their salary they are receiving from the National Museum, they are being paid by National Museums. We did some MOU some years back with the Kericho County government, and that is why we have moved a bit. Yes, it's historical. It's not regional even, because its historical background is beyond even Kenya, because the kind of visitors. One time I received some visitors from Mauritius who knew the site like the back of their hand, and it was their first time to reach here, which means they read the storyline of this site, and it is the site with the more than enough land here. I think any development can be done within the site without any problem, like squeezed land or what have you. Revenue, we have not. This is a case whereby revenue, we have not started collecting revenue offices, revenue or gate collections. That is why still our visitors booked from Kisumu. That is our regional office, and they are still coming. They are not paying anything here, but that is a technical part of it, which we left to National Museums of Kenya to decide how revenue collection should be conducted in the site. And it is them who will, I've appealed to them that this is a well-visited place, and the kind of revenue they are losing from this site is very many. Because, for example, a school, you witnessed a school of 140 students, and they paid nothing. Because with us, we can't start doing some collection without authority or the authorization from our